Welcome to Brier's Showcase. I'm Bryer Cisneros and welcome back to another video. So, Christmas is over, Santa Claus is gone, and now it's back to regular clothes, which is actually kind of refreshing because I actually got used to wearing that sweater. But regardless, today is a very special day for two reasons. One, this is my very first Q&A. Second, this is also my 400 subscribers special. So, like I just said, the channel just reached 400 subscribers, so thank you so much for subscribing. To all the new people, thank you for supporting the channel. And to all the old people who have been following me for the past couple years, well, technically one, because this year was kind of when I was the most active. But thank you so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate it. And so, what better way to celebrate is doing a Q&A. So I've been, kind of promoting this, not like in your face or anything, but something I've been pushing a little bit, and I actually got a good amount of questions, a lot more than I thought I would actually. So I believe we have about 28 questions, and of course I'm going to answer all of them in this video. So I'm not going to waste any time, I'm just going to go right into it. So I'm pretty much going to be going in order of when I received these questions. So the first question goes to a user by the name of Abby, the Young Gen Xer. That has some similarities with Jason, the Old Millennial. I wonder if there's a connection. Anyhow, but seriously, what is the first Beatles song you remember listening to? So this is a kind of a tricky question because I honestly don't remember, because the Beatles are a band I feel has been in all our lives, whether we know it or not. We've heard at least one song, and it's usually in the background. Like obviously when I was young, I was not really actively listening to music. It was just like, again, a background thing. So if I were to guess the song, it might be maybe, if we're going with the early stuff, it might be I Want to Hold Your Hand, maybe Twist and Shout. Like, again, one of those early songs. If we're talking about maybe a later period, maybe Yellow Submarine, that's a big one. Here Comes the Sun, maybe Octopus's Garden, maybe. But those are like my the ones I believe were the first ones. But again, I'm not sure. But good question though. Okay, speaking of Jason the Old Millennial, next one is by Jason himself. Have your let me read that again. Have your musical taste changed a lot in the last 10 years? Oh, yes, they have. Like 10 years ago, I was not listening to pretty much any of the stuff you see behind me. Because again, when I was younger, I didn't really have I liked music, but I was not really like actively seeking or anything. I was one of those people that if I liked the song, I would remember it. If the song didn't grab me, I would just ignore it. And so I was kind of very picky. So I never really had like a favorite band or artist. And I didn't really go out of my way to look up or research any people that I was into. But really, and I've said this before, once I discovered Queen, and that's when everything changed. So, like after Queen, like everything else kind of followed suit. So yeah, my tastes have changed quite a bit, because now I'm into not just rock, but of course metal, and even different types of subgenres, like the more extreme stuff like Black and Death. Thrash, of course. Then you have hard rock, of course, R&B, soul, pop, disco even. So again, my tastes have really grown. So yeah, I'd say they have changed a lot. Next, I'm going to try and say this person's name, and let me just say a quick disclaimer. If I do mispronounce your name, I apologize in advance. So this next one is by a user named Aurora, something like that, like Aurora Borealis. That's how I like to think it. By the way, I had to write down all the questions by hand, because when most people who do Q&A, they usually are doing off their phone. Oh, well, can't really do that at the moment. So yeah, I had to handwrite every question, but it's fine though. I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyhow, back to Aurora's question. What's your most listened to CD? That's another one I'm not sure because I don't keep track. But if I were to guess, it would probably be some of the early, probably the ones I've had the longest, like Who's Next. Pet Sounds is one. Let's see what else. Master of Puppets. Just looking around. Black Star. Again, a lot of the early ones I bought. But yeah, those are like my best guesses. I'm pretty sure there's more, but you know, that's like what I think. And next one. So Aurora asked another question. Do you collect other things relating to music other than CDs, like cassettes, etc.? Well, as you can see behind me, a little bit of vinyl. Again, shout out to you, Garrett. I'll get to your question in a bit. But again, it's kind of small. It's kind of a good starter pack. But other than that, yeah, no, not really. Like CDs has always been my main like medium, because, and there's a question relating to that later, but so I'm not going to answer it now. But yeah, CDs is what I mainly do, is what I mainly have. I do hope to get, I'm looking into vinyl more in next year, but right now CDs is number one. I have really no interest in anything else. Cassettes, they never really appealed to me. I don't have a cassette player. You know, then again, I don't have a record player either. But you know, again, a cassette, it's just not that. It just doesn't interest me. You know, it's just a little square. It's not as like, you know, impressive as a vinyl. Even a CD, I feel is a bit more exciting than a cassette. Again, no offense to those who collect cassettes. Keep doing what you're doing, but to me, I have no interest personally. But yeah, good questions there. Okay, next person, and again, I'm going to try and pronounce this. So again, apologies if I get it wrong. Dem, or I sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. But based on what I have, it's Dem Do Z Guys. That's my best attempt. I'm sorry. Is there an artist that you've been meaning to get into for a while, but just never got around to for one reason or another? And yeah, there's tons of them. Like, going off the top of my head, like XTC's one, Nectar, Vinograph Generator, prog band, by the way. Even bands that I have at least one album. I would count, like Nazareth. I only have one album by them, and I want to delve into more of them. Same with bands like Dream Theater, and again, see if I can think one more. Overkill, a thrash metal band. Again, the list is endless. Like I have a separate list of bands and artists I need to get into, and of course people will keep requesting them or suggesting like bands or artists I should check out. So again, there's a lot there. So, but again, I just named just a few just on top of my head. But again, there's plenty. So next question. This was by Zelfo Jazz. How do you keep track of what you have in your CD collection? And, you know, again, pretty the simple stuff. You know, a Google Sheet is what I mainly use. Again, kind of categorize everything by artist, you know, year came out, stuff like that. A lot of the nerd stuff, if you will. And I lost my train of thought for a sec, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I have a pretty good memory, so I haven't had a moment where I was browsing someplace and I was questioning, like, do I have this or not? Like, that has not happened yet, because again, I usually have a pretty good idea what I don't and what I do have. But yeah, again, a Google Sheet is all I need. But yeah, good question there. Okay, Garrett from SoundLab Studios. What was the first CD you ever got? So I'll give you two answers, because I'm going to give you the first answer is the first CDs I first received, because early on I didn't have any money, so my mom would buy CDs for me. And then I'll give a second answer where I actually did buy them with my own money. So the first CDs I received, again, I can't remember exactly, but it comes down to 4 CDs. Black Star by David Bowie, I think that it was just when it came out, or a little bit after his death. I can't remember which one, but it was around that time. Who's Next by The Who, Master of Puppets by Metallica, and a Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits. So those were the first original 4, at least according to my recollection. But the second answer is for albums that I bought myself with my own money. It was my first time using my Amazon account, so I kind of decided to try it out. And they're actually in hand. Well, one of them's in hand reach. I'm gonna have to get the other one, but the one of the CDs I got was this one right here, and that's of course Foxtrot by Genesis. And the second one I bought is over here. It should be, where did I put it? Oh, it's over here. Got it. Close to the Edge. Oh, by Yes. So yeah, it was these two that kind of were the first where I actually did buy with my own money, and I must say, pretty good ones to start, I must say. So yeah, good question there. All right, so let me just adjust myself. So next question, the next couple questions are from Adam from What the Gym. So the first question Adam asks is, what is your favorite movie or TV show? So I'll answer both. So my favorite movie is Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. Gotta say it right. It's been a long day. I just got off work. But yeah, Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, like that was one of the greatest experiences in terms of my movie watching, because I was just glued to that screen. Like my eyes would not leave the TV. I know at one point my mom came in to check on me, and I didn't even acknowledge her. Like I was that focused on the movie. So yeah, it's definitely up there. Like, I mean, Alfred Hitchcock, one of my favorite directors ever. Just how he's the master of suspense for a reason, and he just masters that. So that's my favorite movie. Favorite TV show, it kind of changes. It kind of depends on what I'm watching at the time. But I'll give you what show I'm watching currently. Actually, no. Sorry, I was kind of rethinking there, but I actually do have a favorite TV show, and that's The Twilight Zone. I almost forgot for a second. I almost forgot to mention that, but The Twilight Zone, yes, love that show. I mean, especially of course, I'm talking about the first version of it. I know they did a couple revival series, but I'm always gonna refer to the original series. Yeah, absolutely love that show. And I'll give you a cartoon as well. The one I'm currently very invested in is called The Owl House. It's on Disney Channel. And, it's about this girl who goes to this dimension, and she meets this witch, and she kind of becomes her apprentice, and they get into lots of hijinks. There's a whole arc. There's a whole storyline with it. Very good stuff. It's on its last season, so yeah, I've really been looking forward to this. They're going to release another episode, I believe in January actually, so not long from now. So I'm going to be watching that. But yeah, hopefully that answers that. Again, sorry if I'm a bit all over the place. Again, I'm going off the cuff, so bear with me. So the next question Adam asks, if you could bring 5 CDs to a desert island, which ones will they be? This is the age-old question, isn't it? So 5 CDs that I would bring with me. I'm obviously I gotta bring a Queen album, but which one? Some people might think I'm gonna go with Night at the Opera because that has Bohemian Rhapsody on it, but you'd be wrong, because I'm gonna go over here. By the way, the reason why the mic's not connected is just so I can freely move around easier. Because if this is attached to me, there's a chance I could knock my phone over. So I don't want that. That'll be a hilarious blooper, by the way, though. But anyhow, back to the topic at hand. So the Queen album I would bring is this one, Innuendo. So this is the last album before Freddie passed away, and good one to go out on. And the reason why I'm bringing this is because it has my favorite Queen song, and that of course is "The Show Must Go On." I've talked about it before in my top 100 favorite songs of all time miniseries. Fantastic song. And if I'm on a desert island, I need something to motivate me, and "The Show Must Go On" is that. And of course, this album has other great songs. Of course, you have the title track, "I'm Going Slightly Mad," which will also sum up my experience on a desert island alone. But other songs, "I Can't Live With You," "Don't Try So Hard," "Ride the Wild Wind," "These Are the Days of Our Lives." So yeah, I bring this one. Might be a unpopular, well, maybe not unpopular, but definitely a kind of a going against the norm. We'll go with that. Okay, that's one. Second one, "Hounds of Love" by Kate Bush. I'd bring that. Beach Boys, "Pet Sounds," so we're at 3. Again, I'm going unscripted, no cuts. So we're still at 3. Abbey Road, the Beatles. And finally, I go with Pink Floyd, "The Wall." The final answer. So those are the 5. So Queen, "Innuendo," Kate Bush, "Hounds of Love," "Pet Sounds" by the Beach Boys, Abbey Road, the Beatles, and Pink Floyd, "The Wall." Alright, so that actually wasn't as hard as I thought. I don't know, they could change, but those are my 5 at the moment. But thank you for the questions, Adam. I appreciate it. Okay, so we have a lot of questions next by a person called MN, also known as Mickey. So Mickey has asked quite a bit of questions here, and of course I'll answer all of these. So first question Mickey asks, "What's the one song that I can't stand more than any?" So I'm going to make this a bit trickier. I'm not going to say a song that's from 2000 onward because that's too easy. So I'm only going to talk about songs that are before the 2000s. And I'd say, excuse me by the way, I'd say I'm going to go with, and this might shock, I guess this might shock some people, but I'm going to go with "Born in the USA" by Bruce Springsteen. Can't stand that song. I mean, in all honesty, I'm not even a big Bruce Springsteen fan to begin with. I don't know, his voice never really appealed to me. And, I don't doubt he's a good songwriter and showman. But, it's just the voice just doesn't do it for me. I know it's ironic, says the guy who likes black metal vocals, but it's just Bruce Springsteen's the one exception where I'm like, it doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, I do like "Born to Run." I like that song, but everything else I'm kind of like, it's fine. But "Born in the USA," I just don't want to listen to that one. It gets really annoying, especially around the 4th of July. Because you always hear that song, even though if you look it up, it's not really a patriotic song at all. But people just take that chorus and then you hammer it in your head. Yeah, it's that's probably my pick for that one. Again, I know some people are huge Springsteen fans, but sadly I'm not one of them. Moving on. What software do you use to organize your music and burn CDs? Nothing too crazy, Of course, I just put them in my computer. And by the way, my computer doesn't even have a CD-ROM. So So if you can, hopefully if you can see it, but it's on the side here. But it's kind of like it's just a like an accessory kinda. You just have to plug it in, and it works that way. But yeah, I just put it in my computer. I upload iTunes. Bada bing, bada boom. That's it. So yeah, nothing fancy. It's very convenient. I'm usually working at this desk a lot of the time, and so I usually put on music, and I just go on the iTunes and I just pick an album and I just listen to it. But yeah. Next question. Why do you prefer CDs to vinyl or digital? So this kind of goes back to that question I talked about earlier. So, see, again, when it comes to CDs, it's kind of the usual reasons. Again, they're a bit more convenient to find. They're a lot cheaper most of the time. You can get it so you can get a ton of them at once. Especially if you go to like used stores, because a lot of like thrift stores or record shops sell CDs for very cheap. So again, you can get a ton in one shopping binge or whatever. That's probably not the right word, but yeah. Also, they're smaller. They're a bit easier to store. Obviously with vinyl, they're a lot bigger, and they take up a bit more room, especially as you grow it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, a lot of the usual reasons. Also, another reason, they're a bit easier to maintenance. Of course with vinyl, you do have to. There's a little bit of a maintenance thing you have to do sometimes. But yeah, that's why I prefer CDs. Again, I respect vinyl. I mean, that's why I still have these here, because I still have a huge respect for vinyl, and in a different universe I can see myself as a vinyl person, but right now CDs is my go-to. But yeah, that's the end of that question. Next, do you listen to every CD you get? For the most part, yes. I usually try to listen to them at least once, maybe twice, because I do a CD haul video at the end of the month, so obviously I need to listen to them to give my thoughts. But there's CDs that I've not listened to, like of course the box of CDs my uncle gave me, if you remember that video. There's some in there I have not listened to because I know for a fact they won't interest me, so that's the only exception. If I know I'm not interested in it, then big chance I'm not gonna give a listen. But everything else, like everything you see in my main collection, like I've listened to at least once. So yeah. Next, what's your college major? I am majoring in film production. I've always have a fascination with filmmaking ever since a young age, and so of course, if you can tell, because I try to bring what I've learned into my videos, because in terms of the lighting and stuff like that, like simple edits here and there, nothing crazy, but just want to show, just want to kind of dabble in it. I'm not sure where that if it will lead to a huge career path, but I'm enjoying it, and again, it reflects in my videos, hopefully. Okay, when I said there was not going to be any cuts, well, I had to make one because one of the cats just knocked something over, so I had to go fix it. But we're good now, so let's keep going. The last question Mickey asks was, what is your favorite episode of The Twilight Zone? And the reason why he's asking this one is referring to when I did a community post not that long ago, and I recently bought this. We have The Twilight Zone, the complete series on Blu-ray. So this has all of the original episodes, all 156 of them, and they all are put into 24 discs, which is a lot, but definitely a good one, and it looks great, by the way, if you're wondering. So my favorite episode, right now, I'm gonna go with The Obsolete Man. So it's the last episode from season 2, and I've always enjoyed that one. Just the performances in that one. You have Burgess Meredith in it, who's playing the lead role. And so basically, if you don't know, the episode's about Burgess Meredith, who plays a librarian who's being put on trial because, of course, he's a librarian and he deals with books. In this society, books are considered obsolete, so he's being put on trial. And on top of that, he's also tried because he believes in God, which is also obsolete. And and if I'm going to be honest, I'm not religious or anything. I don't go to church. I'm not saying I don't believe in God. I do believe there's something, but I don't actively I'm not actively religious or anything, but I respect religion, and and I believe in people should have the freedom of religion. So obviously with the character who believes in God, I'm gonna root for them, but yeah, it's just a very, very good story, and I think the topic in that episode is still kind of relevant even today. Maybe not to that extreme, but it feels like we're kind of moving towards it, but I'm not gonna get into that. But let's keep so I'm gonna keep moving. But yeah, good episode. If I were to give like honorable mentions, like maybe the Invaders, the After Hours, the Masks, the Monsters Do on Maple Street, classic one. But yeah, there's countless others, but those are some of the ones that come to mind. But yeah, thank you, Mickey, so much for all the questions. So we're going back to Jason once again with the second question he asks. Actually, is this? Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, this is the second question he asks. What's your biggest influence on music, like a family or friend? So in terms of family, mainly my mom. Because when I told her I was getting into Queen, of course she would recommend me stuff like Aerosmith, Eagles, Pink Floyd, like a lot of the big bands. But of course, as time has gone on, eventually I kind of was starting to go into genres that even she didn't know about. So that was when I started using YouTube, channels like Sea of Tranquility, Canadian Stud Muffin, Glenn Calloway from the Basement. So I was being influenced by that. But of course, like Jason, of course, and Adam, and even Garrett as well have talked about stuff that has interested me. So in terms of friends, that the people that I mentioned just there, then you've influenced me as well. So it's always, I'm always going to be influenced by people who will recommend me stuff. But yeah, that's a good question there. Thanks, Jason. And I know Jason has one more question. We'll get to that one shortly. Next, Mike Burke. He asks 2 questions. First one, what's your biggest goal or ambition in life? And, if I'm going to be honest, like my big goal, my dream is to make a living doing this. Because, again, of course, it's going to be kind of tricky because this is not the this channel is not I doubt this channel's going to get like 1 million subscribers. Like, that would be freaking awesome if it did, but not for a while. But yeah, never say never. But yeah, that's probably my biggest goal, like to make a living just talking about music and talking about stuff I'm passionate about. Like, that's the ultimate dream right there. And it's possible. I've seen channels do it, but I'm not quite there yet. So again, that's what I want to do. But for right now, I'm good with my day job for now. But again, if something happens and I can do this full time, I'll do it in a snap. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If I were to go for a backup, like obviously I'll stick with my day job, but obviously this is what I'm more passionate about. Next, last question Mike asks, and I had to write this down because he actually gives me a little compliment. You are such a nice and amiable guy. Thank you. I appreciate that. What really makes you mad? Well, when my internet dies. Well, that's true, and I'm pretty sure you want something a bit more deep, or something a bit more serious. Probably I'm not gonna say it gets me mad, but what gets me mad is kind of when I'm trying to communicate something to somebody and they don't quite understand what I'm saying. Because I have a way of saying certain things, and also I'm a pretty shy guy in real life, so my voice is kind of on the softer side when I'm with people, and so people will have a hard time understanding what I'm trying to say, and it gets to a point where I start to get frustrated after the 5th time. So yeah, that's more like an annoyance, but that's one thing. Another thing that will probably get me kind of upset is kind of when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And I've been guilty of being a people pleaser. Like, I'm guilty of that, and people have taken advantage of me because of it. I'm not gonna go into specifics, but yeah, it was kind of, didn't feel good. It did not feel good because I try to help people, and if they're just gonna take advantage of it, then screw you then. But yeah, it hasn't happened that often though. Like it's only happened like maybe a couple times, like maybe once or twice. But it was again, it was pretty quick. So that's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, thank you, Mike, for those questions. Okay, next we have a few from Ian Cook. So I had to write this down because he actually gave context to this question. So, excuse me. I have two, and I'm going to try to see if I can pronounce this, Horcrux albums. So Horcrux. Again, hopefully I said that right, but basically what that means, these are albums that are part of my soul and emotionally weld into my best stuff forever, for personal and highly emotional reasons. What are yours? This is actually pretty easy. Pink Floyd The Wall and Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. Yep, those two got me through high school. I wouldn't say I was depressed, but it was. Those albums got me through some dark times. But so yeah, those two albums are pretty high up for me. So yeah, good question there. Second question, Ian asks, what is or are your favorite Christmas song by a rocker? I'll probably go with "Step Into Christmas" by Elton John. Very good upbeat song that I like to play during the holidays. It's just a good one. If you've not heard it, go and give it a listen. It's a very good song. But yeah. Next, what is your New Year's resolution? I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I typically don't do New Year's resolutions because it saves me the anguish I feel when I fail on it, not like immediately after. So usually I'll have like small things, like maybe small goals, like maybe next year maybe start focusing on myself more, like maybe that's one thing. But again, I don't do resolutions that often because most of us tend to fail. But yeah, that's a good question still though. Next, is your channel going how you thought it would? That's a good one because honestly, it's doing way better than I thought it would, and honestly, it's a lot quicker than I thought as well. Because again, if we go back to the beginning of this year alone, I had maybe 15 subscribers, but now we're nearing the end of the year and we're at over 450, which is crazy. Like, I did not expect this to grow this quickly. And I've had moments where it plateaued a bit. It happens, but still, it's like 15 to 450, like what? And of course, I've also been collaborating with other YouTubers, and to be frank, I never thought I'd collaborate with anybody. I thought I was always going to do this by myself, but I've collaborated with Jason, Adam, Garrett, and Nick as well, and I'm having the time of my life at the moment. So yeah, my channel is going way better than I thought it would. But yeah, that's a good one. I'll go more in depth on this when I do my end of the year reflection video. So look forward to that on Sunday. So yeah, and the last one Ian asks, weird. This is not really much of a question. It's more like a statement. Weird/obscure songs you love, but are sure nobody else would appreciate. And you know what? I actually had this already prepped because I did a playlist, and I'll leave a link in the description. And it has a lot of songs in there that not many people may not know about, but I still love them. Again, you might not like them, but I love them, and that's all that matters. But yeah, some of them are like deep cuts from pretty well-known bands, like maybe songs people don't know about. A lot of J-pop, surprisingly. Like, I actually do like a bit of J-pop. I don't have any in the collection because I'm not sure if Japanese CDs play on American, CD players or computers, but if they do, then let me know. Then I'll probably see if I can get more J-pop CDs. But a lot of it. That's basically it in a nutshell. So if you want to check them out, again, link in the description to the playlist. It's on Spotify, by the way. And that's the last one Ian asks. So Ian, thank you so much for all the questions. And then Jason with his final question. What does your family think about your CD collection? Does anybody in your family collect music? So my family are pretty supportive of it. Of course, if you ask my older brother, he'll probably tell you I need to stop buying CDs. But that's just him. He's just, deep down, he doesn't really care. But yeah, they're pretty supportive of it. Obviously, there are times where they do tell me, okay, maybe you should slow down on your spending because, bills are coming up and we kind of need your help. And moments like that, that's when I'll slow down. But yeah, for the most part, they're pretty supportive of this. In terms of any other family that collect music, in terms of my immediate family, my mom has a couple CDs, but not much. She doesn't really listen to them that often. And my brother, not really. He's kind of like me when I was starting out. Like I mentioned before, like he's kind of picky. He'll like a few songs from a band or artist, but he won't really go out of his way to listen to an album. So yeah, he's kind of one of those that kind of like picks on what he likes and what he doesn't like. In terms of other family members, like I know my uncle, like not like my like mostly the uncles on my mom's side, like they're pretty much into music. Obviously because one of them gave me a box of CDs, and I know my other uncle, I think my mom's oldest brother, I think he has some records, and I think he has a record player. He's thinking on getting rid of it, so maybe I'll get a record player soon, but I'm not gonna count on that. Nothing's confirmed though, so we'll see what happens there. But that's pretty much it, as far as I'm aware of, at least. So yeah, again, thank you, Jason, for all the questions. Okay, we have a couple more to go. We're almost done. This one goes to Kevin Seidel. I like Seidel better. What band or artist from years ago would you love to have seen perform live? Easy question. Queen, no doubt about it. Just to see Freddie Mercury at his prime, just how he commands the crowd. Of course, you have Brian May, Roger Taylor, John Deacon, just absolutely killing it in the music side on their instruments. Like, I would have loved to see that. So that's my answer. So easy one. Next we have from a user named Amazing Aisha. I think I said it right. So Amazing Aisha, what is your favorite decade of music? Again, another easy question. The 70s. Excuse me. So yeah, the 70s, no doubt. The 80s in second place, and then the 60s third. God dang. Not cutting this out though. And then everything else, they fall into their respective place. But 70s for me, I mean, that's like, I'd say 70% of all the music in my CD collection. Yeah, love the 70s. There's so much in there. You have rock, hard rock, progressive rock, even metal, folk rock. Like to me, that's like the perfect middle ground between the 60s and the 80s, because the 70s took what the 60s started and they kind of brought it into, and so now you have better production. Everything sounds a bit better, and they don't sound as polished as they would do in the 80s. But the 70s is like a good middle ground between those two. So that's why I love the 70s so much. I think I explained this in my top 30 favorite 70s albums video. You can go check that out if you can. You'll probably find it. But yeah, the 70s is my pick. And of course, disco. Can't forget disco. I do like disco, by the way. But yeah, we have two more to go. So first one, the second last one, we have one from my good buddy Nick. I'm gonna try to say his last name. I know he said it before, but I always forget how to say it. So Nicholas Urabinski. I think I'm right there. So Nick asks, "What's your favorite album you own?" So this is actually, this could mean either my favorite album of all time, or just my holy grail album, kind of like an album that I've wanted for a long time, but it took me a long time to get it. And I'm gonna say my holy grail answer because I kind of want to save my favorite album of all time for another series I plan to do next year. So if I'm going to give my holy grail answer, I'd probably pick. That's a tough one because there's a lot of them. I guess right now, I'm just gonna see if I can get it because it's kind of actually I got it not that long ago. Hopefully nothing falls. There we go. It's gonna be this one, and I've shown this before. Did an unboxing video of it. It's Paul McCartney, Band on the Run. This is one I've wanted for so long, but it was just so hard to get on Amazon. Like, I've been trying to find one, but never did. So finally I went to eBay, and they actually had the version I was looking for. So yeah, I'm very happy to have this one. So this is right now it's kind of like my holy grail album, but there could be another one down the line. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm gonna go with this one for my answer. And the last one, another one from Nick. What's your social security number? Well, it's very simple. The answer is it's So hopefully you got that, Nick. Go and spend as much money as you want. But anyhow, thank you so much though. And that concludes this very first Q&A. So to all the people who submitted questions, thank you so much again. And once again, I want to thank everybody for helping me reach 400 subscribers. Again, it means a lot to me. I'm glad you're here to support the channel. And of course, I'm going to be making more videos in the future, so look forward to those. So tomorrow, as you know, I'm going through a whole week of uploading, so one video a day. So tomorrow will be my December CD haul video. So I'm going to go over all the CDs, so all the ones you can kind of see up here. I'm going to go through all of them and give my brief thoughts on them. So look forward to that tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.